What's up guys, welcome to Ride the Coffee Bean. Today I am in Antibes, here on the French Riviera, a city full of history and art, big luxury yachts and so much more. But I'm here for a different reason. Antibes has some of the best coffee shops here on the French Riviera, and I'm here to talk to Evelyn, the owner of the Nomads coffee shop. So,
Cheers.
cheers.
I'm from Austria.
Austria.
Yeah.
How did you get started with coffee?
It was 10 years ago now already in Vienna with Coffee Pirates Vienna. I was traveling. I was in marketing before, and I studied tourism management. And I just wanted to do something else and just stopped my work and went on a journey around the world. Bit of a crazy story, like for 1 year. And I wasn't really interested in coffee, but I was in New Zealand. I saw like all these coffee shops, and I really liked the vibe and like people gathering, and it was just nice. In fact, I would like to do something like that. And then I went to Colombia, like on the other side, and I was roasting with a coffee producer in his shop first time. And I was on a coffee plantation, and he showed us around. He was like. And then I decided to open a coffee shop in Vienna, not knowing anything about coffee, I need to say. Like I started from very, very zero and did a barista course in Germany, in Berlin. And then we just started and opened Coffee Pirates.
How long ago was that?
10 years ago
10 years ago.
10 years ago, yeah. And we started very, very small. It was a very small shop. And we had like a little roaster in the shop where we were like roasting.
Yeah.
And like by trial and error, let's say. Like it was very, but in Vienna there was nothing with coffee. There was like, we were one of the first shops, specialty coffee shops. So it was difficult to get green beans. It was difficult to get information. I don't know. There was no coffee scene actually. And we started just roasting in the shop, and there were people looking. What are you doing? It was very nice actually.
The beginning of the.
It was
very,
very at the very beginning. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I visited. I went to Coffee Paris when I went to Vienna.
I've seen it.
It was a really cool shop.
In the meantime, it's like a big coffee shop actually with a huge terrace outside.
Yeah.
And we are roasting outside in Vienna, like a little bit outside with a bigger roastery.
Yeah.
Still a drum roaster and still specialty. But the place in the shop was getting too small.
Yeah. So how did you end up in Antibes then? If you opened a coffee shop in Vienna?
It just happened out of lots of circumstances that I don't know what happened kind of. I wanted to change a little bit. I was on holidays here and I decided to stay. I found this place for rent, like it was an empty space, just everything white and clean. And I thought like it would be a nice place for a coffee shop. And I called the agency and they said like, yeah, just have a look. Next day I'm in Antibes, let's have a look. And I was like, I'm on holidays, but why not? I can just have a look, and that's how it started. And then I applied for the place and like wrote a new concept because this shop is very different to the shop in Vienna, actually the whole concept.
Yeah.
And so I opened end of November, and then I had to close again in March because of COVID. So it was like a rough start from the beginning, let's say.
Yeah.
And I was on my own, and I had to close, and then I was like, oh my God, so what's happening? And of course, I was super young, I just opened, so I didn't get any support from the state, of course. And then after 2 months, I was allowed to open again just for takeaway. So I decided I was still on my own, and I opened every morning for takeaway for 2 months. I was working every day, but it was nice because I was one of the few shops that were open. Everything was closed, and for people it was a kind of excuse being able to go outside and grab a coffee. It was one of the exceptions to go out actually. And I made a lot of regulars and nice people and friends, and I got to know a lot of people. And
that's the best thing about the coffee
and that was
business.
very nice. Yeah.
I think. What is it like to have a specialty coffee shop in France? It's not really known for specialty coffee.
In Paris, yes, but everywhere else, there's just a couple of shops on the Côte d'Azur.
Yeah.
It's quite new for people, so they are used to more like really dark roasted coffee, and they surprisingly don't care too much about coffee. A lot of people, it's more, which was very interesting for me because they care a lot about cheese, about bread, about wine, of course, but coffee is not a big thing in France. So it was quite new for people, and even people were telling me, like, I think people were thinking, what is she doing here? Strange, I don't know, so it was a bit of interesting start in the beginning, but people were like just trying out. And of course, you have to explain your coffee sometimes, because when you have like a very fruity, more acidic Ethiopian coffee, people are not used to it. But when you explain like the story behind, like really also like describe the taste, we feel like, wow, that's actually, it's like so good. It's not, we're not too used to flavors like this. We are used to the coffee flavor, like burnt flavors, but not to like the delicate flavors of the coffee, like with wine, for example.
That's interesting. I've noticed both here in France and in Italy as well. People don't really focus on the flavor of the coffee.
But when you like let them know about, but when you let them know, or maybe like also compare with wine, then actually like you have flavors like with wine, and there are so many like really interesting flavors with coffee.
And are people open to
to
and
it's like, actually you're right, it's like a little bit of strawberry, you're right, it's like, wow, amazing. And actually with your coffee I don't need sugar with it, or it's like I can drink it black coffee, no milk actually. It's nice. And I get more and more regulars. Also, like we have lots of French people as well that really appreciate our coffees, which is nice.
That's amazing. So what are we drinking now?
So this is a nitro cold brew coffee. It's a single estate coffee from Ethiopia. I washed Ethiopian from a farm called Cote in the south of Ethiopia. I can tell you, like I was there actually, like I visited the farm, so that's why for me it's a very, I love this coffee because I have like the pictures behind, and I met the owner, this fire too.
It's amazing.
And it's a very delicate washed processed coffee, lots of floral notes, a little bit of milk chocolate, and we use it for our cold brew.
It's really delicious.
And last year we started with nitro cold brew, which gives the coffee a very nice, more sweet flavor compared to the normal cold brew. So it's like infused with nitrogen. You can compare it a little bit like the Guinness beer, when you like from the tap kind of, where you have like these bubbles. So it's like a more like you get like more sweet flavors, and you get a bigger mouthfeel than with a normal cold brew, just over ice, and people love it. We have it on a tap, and it's very.
Maybe it's in summer. This is.
It's like I would say, like it's a good Red Bull. It's like it's a real, because it's very fruity. It's very juicy, so you can drink it like really just as juice, but actually has a lot of caffeine in it. You will then experience it later.
So what is it like? What do you find most interesting about coffee? Is it the flavors and the nerdiness, or other aspects of it?
For me, it's the people. I don't know, the people. Of course, in the rich countries, because I was traveling a lot in the rich countries, and because of I worked in a roastery, or like I had a roastery myself. So we were like always trying to visit some of the farms as well. So it's like nice to see it on site, how everything works. So you always have like pictures behind when you have a coffee. So that's what I really like. And it's like the people in the coffee shop. So I like for me, it's the atmosphere in the coffee shop. Of course, the coffee has to be good. It's a base, that's the standard. But I like the vibe of people gathering for a coffee, kind of. And that's also the idea of Nomads, like people connecting through coffee, kind of. So that you have people from everywhere. In Antibes, it's very international. You have lots of the yachties, you have tourists, you have lots of foreign people living in Antibes, and you have French people, and they all meet in the coffee shop. And it's nice to see when they connect and even become friends, and like they come on their own, and then they talk to each other because we have like small tables, and it's like nice to see like these little stories. And that's what I really like about coffee.
What is the French coffee culture like? Is that like the norm, that people sit around and take time to drink the coffee, or is it?
In France, I mean, difficult to say. Like it's not about the quality of the coffee. It's kind of like have your coffee and a croissant in the morning. Yes, but it's not about like talking to each other. It's more like you have your coffee on your own. You don't talk too much. You also don't talk to the baristas, because that's what we do here. We talk to everyone. I like to talk, as you can see. But I think that makes us different, that we like to connect with the people and are more interested, and not like someone is getting his coffee and there's no connection. I don't know. That's the nice thing.
How would you say the French coffee culture differ from the Austrian one? Since you started in Austria.
In Austria, coffee is very important, like was always important. And in Austria, lots of artists went to cafes or coffee shops to spend their time. In former days also, because in winter it was very cold. And in Austria, they couldn't afford having like heating at home. So they came to the coffee houses to have like a warm place to work, actually.
Really?
So there's lots of like poets, writers, artists that did their work in the coffee shops. Yeah.
That's interesting. I visited one of the
old ones.
The old ones.
And we have lots of old traditional coffee houses. Like they are beautiful. Like it's really nice. But the coffee, I need to say, is not very good. It's like disappointing.
It's like you pay €6 for
it's
a coffee,
very expensive.
and it's terrible.
Lots of tourists, and but the patisserie is very good. So yes, like we have lots of sweets and cakes, and it's true. But the coffee, unfortunately,
That's so. This is not connected to the coffee pirates.
Not anymore. No, not anymore.
But you use the coffee.
Yes.
So you buy coffee from the coffee
coffee is
pirates.
roasted for us. Yeah. Here. Yeah.
You have your own profiles and.
Yeah.
Do you help pick out the crops every year, or do you?
Yeah, to select the coffees, yes. Yeah? But I'm not connected anymore with the origin countries to actually buy the coffees. Okay. No, that's like a whole proper road. Like that's a lot of work behind to like choose the green beans. To buy them and for the roastery and to roast them. Yeah. So I'm for now not involved too much. But of course, like in choosing my coffees for here, yes, of course, yeah.
So the concept here is basically just like try to get people together and
connect people through coffee.
Yeah, I like that. That's what I'm trying to do as well.
Yeah, and it's like nice because also like when you come here, then you meet other people. You see Emily. You know each other. That's so funny. Yeah. It's like it's a village here, and it's like nice to see people that meet here and see like, was Damien here already? Was he? It's nice to see.
Yeah, it was fun because I came here just randomly because this was the only coffee shop I had.
And you come on your own, you don't know anyone, and then you get to know people, and then you ask, okay, do you know a hostel to stay? We do all kinds of, I don't know, we get keys for apartments, like, I don't know, we take luggage for people that stay just for a day. Really? It's like a full service.
That's amazing. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I love about working in coffee shops too. You meet so many interesting people.
It's nice. And it's very interesting people from like everywhere, and lots of people are coming to Antibes because they would like to do something different. They would like to change their life, whatever. And they feel like Antibes has a special soul. Like, I don't know, they are, as Emily just told me, like she doesn't know, but she just feels like she needs to stay. And she was waiting for a sign to stay, and now I offered her a job. So maybe that's a sign.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I've been thinking about it too. I'm settling down and
so you never know. Yeah,
finding working in a coffee shop.
Yeah, so summer is busy. So
yeah, that's it seems like a good place to work.
Yeah, like for me, it's I hope so. Like I can't tell myself because I'm the boss, let's say. But it feels like that. The stuff, like my people, they are, and for me, it's important that people that work at my place, actually like to work there, because our guests feel it if they just work for money or if they like to work here, and it's all about the atmosphere. It's very important. Yeah, and for me, like I feel like I treat my people well, so I hope I get the same back. So it's a win-win situation. Like yeah. That's yeah.
What do you think? Do you think in general, do you think the coffee culture in France is changing now?
It is. It is in Paris for sure. There's lots of coffee shops. Yeah. Like it started already like maybe 10 years ago. I know the first shops when I started. I think Paris was even more than Vienna, I would say, specialty coffee shop wise. And now here as well, there's more and more people. Maybe also because there's more international people here that demand good coffee. So there are places opening up, which is nice. Yeah, that's cool. Well, there's still lots of space, I think, for coffee shops here. Yeah.
What do you see? Where do you see the French coffee culture going in the next 5 to 10 years?
I think
have any predictions?
I hope so. Like I think, and now I hear about there's a lot of 5-star hotels on the Cote.
Yeah.
And I heard already like about 2 hotels that are more taking care of coffee and like hiring a barista and like first time buying a proper coffee machine and even doing filter coffee.
That's interesting.
And I think they are more forced to do that because they have international people. Like I have like a very good client, and she is working in, I will not say the name, in a very good hotel, like close by, like a really 5-star top hotel. And she said, like, and she asked me, how do you do your flat white? Because a client asked me, and no one knew how to prepare it because they have an espresso machine.
Yeah.
And the client was super disappointed. Like, and the client is paying, I don't know how many €100 for a room and breakfast, and not getting a proper coffee.
Yeah.
And she said, like, it's and I think they need to. It's like, it's so easy just to hire a barista and to buy an equipment for like such a hotel is nothing actually.
Yeah. Hey. It's
yeah. So I think it's starting, and it has to, because they buy the best wines, the best bread, everything like really high quality. But coffee is
yeah, I've always found that strange here in France and in Italy, and people are so into quality when it comes to wine and food and all of that. But when it comes to coffee,
yeah.
And when you go to a 5-star restaurant,
and also for, I don't know, fresh milk.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's so normal. Like in Vienna, we had our local, we had like a milk producer. Like we knew the farmer.
Yeah.
And here, fresh milk is something special because no one is using fresh milk. That's impossible for me. It's like
what kind of milk are you using here?
We have an organic, like entier, like the whole fat milk we are using. Yeah. And we also, for example, we have oat milk, a good one. And that is not very common in France. So it's people like, you have Oatly. It's like I make a advertising for Oatly, and people are like, that's so nice because they can't get it anywhere.
That's strange.
Yeah.
Why? It's a huge thing in Norway, Oatly. A lot of people drink oat milk.
And it's the best. I mean, it's also the most expensive one, but there is a reason. It's really nice. It's a good milk. Yeah.
What kind of coffees are people mostly drinking here?
Espresso, flat white, cappuccino. Lots of cold brew already in summer.
Yeah. Is cold brew a thing from before in France, or is it?
It's not very common in France. No? Not very known, but lots of international people know it. We have lots of guests from like working on the yachts from New Zealand and Australia, and they all know cold brew coffee. They like it. Yeah.
That's cool. And it's delicious.
Yeah, it's like juice. It's like you don't taste too much of. It's like really like very juicy, and it's very refreshing, especially in summer. Yeah.
How did you come up with the name Nomads?
I was looking for a new name, something completely new, and I wanted to have something like a kind of traveler idea I had in my mind, and I was looking for something like vagabond coffee, traveler coffee, but I felt like I don't know. And then there is this artwork at the port, the Nomad statue, like the man looking at the sea. And I really liked it when I saw it first time, and but I never knew the name actually. And then I saw like a little sign saying it's like Le Nomad. And I thought like that's a perfect name because I am a nomad. I was traveling a lot and still traveling a lot. Like I'm not from here. There's lots of tourists here, lots of people from abroad, like from everywhere in the world living here. So I feel like that's the perfect name for me.
It's good. I was wondering if it was connected to the statue or.
Yes, that was the idea. The statue,
It's interesting.
Gave me the name.
You have the backpackers. You have a bunch of nomads.
Yeah,
and going to the nomad coffee shop.
There's all these hostels here. All the yachts is here from everywhere. So yeah.
So you like traveling?
I like traveling. Yeah, I studied tourism management.
Oh yeah.
So I'm coming from tourism. And I did lots of travels, like for work, also like for coffee, but also like, of course, in private. And I was traveling a lot. I've been to Ecuador, I've been to Costa Rica, Panama. On the others, I've been to Africa quite like once in Ethiopia. That was for me the most wow journey coffee-wise. I've been to Kenya twice. Then I've been to Southeast Asia everywhere.
All of it to visit coffee places?
Southeast Asia. I was in Philippines. I was collecting the famous Kopiluba coffee myself.
What do you think of that?
I don't know if you know about the coffee.
Yeah,
it's like the digestion through like this civet cat kind of. But I heard about it, but I don't know. Like I was not very interested in it. I don't know. But then, I wasn't thinking about it. But we were like somewhere on the countryside, and we saw like a farmer, like a person that was like having like a bag of like a white plastic bag in his hand, and it was like going somewhere to look for something. And he was actually collecting the coffee beans. Actually, we were like asking him, and it was difficult to communicate because he wasn't speaking English, of course. And then he showed us what he was collecting. I was like, wow, that's the Kopi Luwak. And
That's so fascinating.
And then he showed us where we could find it, and it was very interesting to see how it really looks like. And it was like an actual real sauvage, like a white Kopi Luwak, because unfortunately they make a lot of money with it, and they keep the cats in cages just to produce it and to make money. But that was a wild Kopi Luwak, like really how it should be with the cat. And it was interesting because they really only eat the best beans, actually, the really high quality beans. And it's like under bushes you can find it, and like of course it looks like, I don't know, it's like a net kind of where like the coffee beans are hanging, kind of course. And then we tried it on the floor ourselves, and then we took like half a kilo home and we roasted it, and like it was a whole story about this coffee actually.
That's so cool. What does it taste like when you process it correctly and roast it correctly?
To be honest, the coffee we had wasn't very good because it was like also like the way we did it, like everything by hand, and we like. I feel like it's too much marketing around, I would say. Yeah. It's like, I don't know, it's like, for me, it was not something outstanding.
I've tried Kopi Luwak a few times, but it's never been very good.
I think it's the story behind that is pretty interesting.
Yeah. I heard now they're also trying to make Kopi elephant walk.
I know. It's all about money, unfortunately. No.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Well, what kind of coffees do you prefer? Do you serve here?
I really like light roasted African coffees, like especially like Ethiopian coffees from Kenya, like very like fruity coffees with more acidity. I like natural coffees because they have more like sweet flavors, especially Ethiopian ones. I like the coffees where I know the plantation because I have like, I know like, I don't know, like a lot of person, like I have a story, like I have pictures at home. So that's, and I drink just black coffee usually. So I like more like black coffees. I like cold brew coffee.
Yeah.
Hi. And come for a coffee. Like it's a good place to have a coffee and a chat.
Definitely.
Let's say. Yeah. It's you always meet new people here. It's like very nice, very interesting, nice people. Yeah.
I don't think you realize how big of an impact your shop have had on my life in the past year.
Okay.
Because I had never really heard about Antibes before, but the reason I came here was because of this coffee shop. I was camping in the mountains, and I was too cold to make myself a coffee, so I was like just Googling, is there any good coffee nearby? And so I came here. And I decided when I came here, it was like 1:30, 2 o'clock or something, and I figured I'm probably going to spend an hour or 2 or 3 in the coffee shop, and then it's going to be late. I have to look for camp, so I knocked on the door of the backpackers. And then
and he's a good friend in the meantime, no?
Yes, like, I just met him that day.
This is nice.
And I ended up staying over a month and a half.
Wow.
I was supposed to stay just one day, and I came just because I wanted a coffee, and I didn't want to make it myself. And so that has changed my whole year of traveling.
Because Antibes is a small town, actually. You go to Nice or you go to Cannes, but you never end up in Antibes because it's not very known.
Yeah.
And that's why people come, like me, like because it's an accident or I don't know, like something is happening that you come here. And then you stay, and so many people are
that's so
telling
strange. Everyone I've met here multiple times.
Has a story.
Yeah, they always come back.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Also today I talked to a lady, like a German, and she said like she had a breast cancer. She stopped her whole she's fine now, but she's canceled her job and everything. Now she bought a dog, and she's now like training dogs and thinking about doing a business and like with dogs and coming here to start completely new. And she asked me like why I came here, and like so many people have like stories behind. Also Emily, that she like, I don't know, I just feel so good, and I started with yoga, and like I don't know, and I'm waiting for a sign. And I heard she's a barista, and I was looking for someone. I was like,
Yeah, she's a coffee roaster, I think.
she was roasting coffee and in New Zealand and a barista, and she was waiting for a sign. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna ask her.
That's
It's
great.
perfect, and it's like it's so funny because a lot of people have like a similar story. Interesting, very interesting village. I love
Yeah,
it. It's
yeah.
like
You meet so many interesting
yeah,
people there.
and it's small. It feels like a village because when you walk around, you always meet people. Even you, I guess, you know a lot of people around.
Yeah.
You go to the same boulangerie. They know you. You know where to buy your. I don't know. Like it's very nice. It's very personal. Yeah, that's what I like of Antibes. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. It's a big city without being a big city, kind of.
Yeah.
Because you have Nice
You
very
have
close by.
everything.
And
You have the airport. You have
Yeah.
everything you need. But you have a village.
Yeah.
And the beach, of course, and the sea, and yeah.
And now good coffee.
And I the coffee.
Yeah, it's recording.
It's already recorded.
Cool. What are the levers for?
This one is for the.
How many grams do you use? And then you push it down. Cool. Is it this one? I haven't made coffee in a long time now. Is it this one? Yeah.
Just on and off. There is no.
Oh yeah.
Just the start.
Huh. Let's see if I remember any patterns now. Ah, that's a terrible swan. I need some more practice with my latte art.
Nice.
Thank you.
That's nice. So, cheers.
Should I film you making like a cheers something?
Very nice, actually. Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. Selfie with you.
Nice. Good coffee. Yeah, I've run my own coffee bar and roastery. Yeah. In Norway. So, but I lost it in 2020 with COVID and everything.